The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of incense and regret, mingling with the dampness of the night. A single flickering lamp lit the entrance to the alleyway, its dim glow barely reaching the cobblestones underfoot, casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to move on their own. Whispers like slithering snakes danced on the edge of hearing, weaving through the darkness with a life of their own. They promised impossible things, second chances, rewritten pasts, a taste of what might have been, and the allure of dreams long forgotten. Shiro hesitated, his hand hovering over the worn cloth of his pocket, where a single precious minute ticked away, a minute that could change everything. This was the night market, a place where time was the ultimate currency, bought and sold in the shadows, where every second held a story. He had heard the tales whispered in hushed tones, stories of desperate souls who traded away years for fleeting moments of joy or a chance to right past wrongs, tales that haunted his dreams. The price, they said, was always steeper than it seemed, a cost that could never truly be measured. But Shiro was a man clinging to the frayed edges of hope, a man willing to risk everything for a chance to reclaim what he had lost, to rewrite his own story in the ink of time. The memory of her smile, bright and fleeting as a shooting star, was a fresh wound on his soul. 3 years. 3 years since Hana had slipped through his fingers, her laughter echoing in the empty spaces of his heart. 3 years he would give anything to relive, to change, to undo the mistakes that had cost him everything. The minute in his pocket, warm against his skin, was all that stood between him and oblivion. 1 minute, 60 seconds to bridge the chasm of his grief. It was a fool's hope, he knew, but Shiro was a man drowning in the vast ocean of his sorrow, willing to grasp at even the faintest glimmer of light. He ventured deeper into the labyrinthine alley, each step heavy with apprehension. Stalls materialized from the darkness, manned by figures as insubstantial as smoke. Their eyes, however, held a disturbing weight, ancient and knowing, reflecting the ebb and flow of countless stolen moments. One such figure beckoned him forward, his face hidden in the shadow of a wide-brimmed hat. 1,000 clocks ticked in discordant symphony around him, their hands spinning backward, forward, frozen in time. The air thrummed with a strange energy, a palpable distortion of the natural order. "Looking to reclaim lost time, young man?" the figure rasped, his voice a dry whisper like the rustle of autumn leaves. His long bony fingers, delicate as a spider's legs, hovered over an ornate hourglass, its sands a swirling vortex of silver. "Be wary of bargains struck in the shadows, where the light barely reaches and secrets are traded like currency." A voice chimed from a nearby stall draped in velvet and strung with glittering beads, catching the eye of anyone who dared to look. A woman, her face veiled and her eyes shimmering with an unsettling luminescence, seemed to materialize from the shadows. She peered at him with unnerving intensity, her gaze piercing through the veil as if seeing into his very soul. Tarot cards, their images shifting and morphing like phantoms in the night, lay spread on the table before her. Each card seemed to tell a story, a fragment of a larger, more ominous narrative. "The past is a treacherous beast," she warned, her voice carrying the weight of countless untold tales. Her voice was a chorus of wind chimes tinkling in the night, each note a whisper of caution. To chase after it is to risk losing yourself in its labyrinthine depths, where every turn could lead to another dead end. Shiro hesitated, the weight of her words settling in his gut like a stone, heavy and unyielding. He had come seeking solace, not riddles wrapped in cryptic warnings, hoping for a simple answer to his troubles. But the fortune-teller simply smiled, a knowing, melancholic curve of her lips that spoke of secrets she would never reveal. Her smile was sad but wise, as if she had seen the outcome of many such quests before. She turned her attention to a shimmering crystal ball, its surface reflecting the dim light of the market. Its depths swirling with images he couldn't quite decipher, each one more mysterious than the last, leaving him with more questions than answers. Section 5. The Shadow Merchant's Offer, a Dangerous Proposition. Deeper still he ventured, into the heart of the market, where the shadows clung with a desperation that mirrored his own. He found him in the darkest corner, shrouded in a cloak of woven night. The shadow merchant, they called him, a purveyor of stolen moments, of forgotten dreams, of time itself. 1 minute, you say? The shadow merchant rasped, his voice a low thrum that resonated in Shiro's very bones. He held out a hand, long and skeletal, his touch sending a chill down Shiro's spine. 1 minute is all it takes to change everything. But the price, you see, is never what you expect. Section 6. The crushing weight of stolen moments. Panic welled in Shiro's chest, threatening to choke him. The air itself seemed to crackle with an unseen energy, the weight of countless stolen moments pressing down on him. His fingers tightened around the minute in his pocket, its warmth a stark contrast to the icy grip of fear that had settled around his heart. He had come seeking solace, a chance to mend the shattered remnants of his life. But the market, with its whispers and shadows, its promises and threats, was slowly unraveling the delicate threads of his resolve. Was he willing to risk everything for a single minute, knowing the price might be more than he could bear? Section 7. The price of lost love, a steep and terrible cost. For every minute gained, the shadow merchant hissed, his voice a venomous whisper in the darkness. A memory must be surrendered, a love, a friendship, a moment in time erased as if it never existed. The blood drained from Shiro's face, leaving him cold and hollow. To forget Hana, to erase the echo of her laughter from the chambers of his heart, was a price too high to pay, even for a lifetime of stolen moments. His resolve, once unwavering, crumbled like dust. The market, he realized, was not a place of solace, but a crucible of despair, where hope was a flickering candle in the face of an all-consuming darkness. He stumbled back, away from the shadow merchant's outstretched hand, his breath catching in his throat. Section 8. The echoes of what could have been. He fled, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs, each step echoing the fear that gripped his soul. The whispers of the market clinging to him like cobwebs, haunting his every thought. He burst from the alleyway, gasping for breath, the cold air burning his lungs. The normalcy of the moonlit street, both a comfort and a curse, a stark contrast to the chaos he left behind. The memory of Hana, bittersweet and achingly real, washed over him, her smile a ghostly presence in his mind, a wave of grief threatening to drown him, pulling him into a sea of sorrow. But within the sorrow, he found a flicker of understanding, a glimmer of clarity amidst the pain. The past, however painful, had shaped him, molding him into the person he had become. It had made him who he was, a tapestry woven with threads of joy and sorrow. To erase it, even a fragment of it, would be to unravel the very being, to lose a part of himself. He would grieve for Hana, her absence a constant ache in his heart, would carry the weight of his regret, a burden he could never fully shed, but he would not sacrifice the precious memories he held, the moments that defined their bond, not for all the stolen moments in the world, for they were the echoes of what could have been. Section 9. A torn ticket, a decision made. His fingers trembled as he reached into his pocket, the single minute still warm against his skin. It felt different now, not a symbol of hope, but a reminder of the treacherous path he had almost taken. With a deep breath, he tore the minute in half, scattering the pieces to the wind. The night seemed to sigh, the shadows retreating, as if acknowledging his decision. A weight lifted from his chest, replaced by an aching emptiness. He had come to the night market seeking a way to cheat time, to outrun his grief. He left with the understanding that some wounds ran too deep for even magic to heal. Section 10. Time's relentless march, a bittersweet reality. He walked away from the night market, each step lighter than the last. The memory of Hana, though painful, was a part of him, woven into the very fabric of his being. He would carry it with him, a bittersweet reminder of love lost and lessons learned. The night market, with its whispers and shadows, faded into the distance, a cautionary tale etched into the landscape of his memory. The sky was beginning to lighten in the east, promising a new dawn. And as Shiro stepped into the burgeoning light, he knew that time, though a relentless and unforgiving master, also held the promise of healing, of growth, of a future where even the deepest wounds could begin to scar over, leaving behind not emptiness, but the faintest glimmer of hope.